Hello. I hope it's working. It seems a little bit buggy. It's my internet. Come on, internet. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, internet. Let me know if you can hear me or see me. Am I stuck in one place? Oh my gosh. My YouTube playback is stuck, so I don't know if I'm stuck. Please let me know. If not, I'll have to restart the stream. And I don't know if I can without creating a new stream. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Okay, I think I'm live finally. Might have to cut that part out for people watching back later. The panic when everything doesn't work. I'm always having issues with my lives. Yay! Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome from wherever you are in the world. From the North American continent, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, wherever you're coming in. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Hope everyone's having a great day. We have some topics to cover today. Well, one big topic, and you can see by the title of the live stream that it is Discord that I'm going over. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions. I'm guessing a lot of you have a lot of thoughts and opinions as well regarding this subject. It's quite a hot topic. And for good reason. I think it's something that we need to talk about, and I think it's something that's going to be coming up more and more with different applications, with different laws and regulations going into place. We've already seen it roll out in country specifics, and seeing companies roll out these measures based on their own kind hearts to protect children should put a lot of doubts in your mind. Because if protecting children was the object for all of these companies, we probably wouldn't have a worldwide child trafficking ring going on at this moment. So just going to put that out there where I'm standing on Discord and protecting children. So if you haven't heard the news about the new policy changes for Discord, they released a press release the past week? Yes. February 9th, to be exact. Discord launches teen by default settings globally. So basically, everyone who's using Discord by default will be a teenager. Congratulations, we found the fountain of youth. It is Discord. And we will be all teenagers, or minors, I guess, because if you're talking about teenager, 18, 19, that's legally an adult in most places. So I'm guessing below 18. So we're between 13 and 17 years old. You can choose the age you want to be, but you're a teenager nonetheless on Discord. And you don't have any choice in the matter unless you want to give them a face scan or a government ID for them to verify your age. This will be necessary to access adult content on Discord. So if you're in Discords that are not exclusive to this type of content, Discord says you will not be targeted for the age verification, but I would definitely take that with a grain of salt. I think it's something that's definitely coming to everybody, probably eventually on Discord, because we need to look at why. Why are they doing this? If we look on Discord's page, of course, it's all a beautiful PR write-up on how they're going to protect teenagers and protect children. It's only taken how many years since Discord has been around for them to realize that children have been targeted and used on Discord for nefarious reasons, usually via other apps. So, for example, Roblox is very notorious for predators to hang out on. And in order for those predators to communicate with a lot of young children or kids, they get them to go on Discord so that way they can share information, photos, and all of this stuff that Roblox wasn't able to track. So that really gained a lot of traction in the predatory ring, I guess. But I guess Discord, it's saying it's going to kind of moderate what's going on their platforms a bit more. Content moderation is a big problem for a lot of platforms, and I just don't understand why we're all put in the same category as being children straight away. It's a bit patronizing. The internet is a free place for everybody. I don't need Discord to be my parent, personally. I'm 38 years old. I don't want to automatically be put in an age-restricted category without my permission or consent. I don't consume adult material on Discord, but I should have the freedom to be an adult when I'm on the internet. It's very patronizing to make everybody a child by default. And I understand you want to protect children and the content that they may be exposed to, but this, at a base level, is the job of a parent. As a parent, I take it very seriously, the content that my kid is exposed to, whether it be advertisements on TV or anything. I don't want companies in charge of this. I don't believe any company does it right. For example, YouTube Kids is not a good product for children, in my opinion. I feel kids can have access to content that's not very child-friendly, especially for young children. I'm talking about, 2 to 3 years old. I tested it myself to see if it was possible for my child to use it. No. I don't want my young child watching Mr. Beast. I'm sorry, I don't think it's appropriate. So it's also just bad for how the content is cut up. So I can see on Discord's page here that they have quick deletion. They're going to identify documents that are, offensive for the age groups concerned. Again, we're all children here, so choose your age. I think I'm just going to be 15 here. I'm pretend I'm 15. There's age-gated spaces, so they're just going to gatekeep the platform by default. Content filters, of course, message request inbox, friend request alerts, stage restrictions, just a lot more restrictions. I think they're rolling this out primarily because countries like the UK and Australia have very strict regulations. France is coming up with it in September of this year for social media for kids under the age of 15. So it wouldn't even count 16 and 17-year-olds in France per se. But I think Discord is just trying to cover their butt before everything is really put into place. It just, for the protection of kids, giving teens a seat at the table, introducing Discord Teen Council. Okay, if you are teenagers, since we all are teenagers, we can join this council, I guess, since by default we're all teens. I would love to join the council, but I'm not going to. And they had so much blowback, Discord, about this decision to have age verification, face scanning, of course, that they had to put a clarification to their approach. Discord is not requiring everyone to complete the face scan or upload an ID to use Discord. Should be a little asterisk at the end of that, because I think it's going to probably be rolled out eventually. They might change their terms and services without notifying everyone, kind of hide it under the rug. What you need to know about these face scanning apps and government ID, these are massive data collection apps. These are not government-run apps. These are private entities who are taking this information, potentially selling it off to somebody, using it to track your whereabouts. And in times like this, we need to be very careful about our data, who's harvesting it, who's controlling it, how it's being controlled. And with that in mind, I don't know if you remember, but Discord had a huge data leak last October. And they had leaked about 70,000 users that may have had their government ID and photos already out in the wild. So for a company that doesn't have a good reputation for guarding your data, I don't have much hope that Discord will probably manage it any better. It's been a few months, but I don't think that they're fully capable of managing all of this information. And I don't really, I just don't know. I got to get in the chat a little bit before I really get ranty. Protecting children from the Xinhua Discord. Yes, that's the goal here. For those of you who use Discord like myself for technical updates, for building communities, especially in very niche tech realms, I would say people into digital minimalism, retro tech. Of course, you have Returning Retro in the chat here. He has a Discord as well. I think it's a way to communicate with the community and share information. And a lot of people have created Discords like this because it's just a nice platform to be able to communicate with the community. But unfortunately, I've made the decision for my server in particular that I will be pulling it by the end of the week. Even though I don't have adult content on my server at all, I don't agree with a company that's taking this approach of taking people's ID, government photos. I just feel it's going down the wrong path and I don't want to support it. I don't care if it doesn't impact me per se at the day of the rollout. I know it may affect me in the future. It's going to affect people that I don't think need to be implicated in this. And I don't think it's fair. I don't like where tech is going. I don't like the whole ownership and the whole representation of Discord since they changed their leadership last year. It's owned by Salesforce, I think, at this point. It's not a good company. It's not something I'm happy to support and really sad about this situation. I chose to use Discord because it was a great tool. It has a great user interface. I felt it was a way to organize topics quite easily. But at that point, it's not worth the risk of the people in my community or myself. I don't want people to feel that they have to join on my Discord in order to get in contact with me. So that's why I made the decision to remove it completely. I didn't just target Discord in this whole culling of my social media. I also targeted Instagram. Currently, I'm only running Blue Sky, but if you see me on there, I don't really post much. I just kind of share my videos and things like that. I'm going to really hyperfixate on just YouTube. I know that Google isn't the best company. I understand, but I'm okay to share my videos. I've activated the community tab again. So if you feel that you want to share something with the community, go ahead and select that on my channel page. It's open to everybody who's part of the channel, subscribed, so we can keep conversations going there. I'm going to post a bit more, of course, interact with the community. And if you're a member, expect some more content coming your way. Again, I don't have Instagram anymore, so I'll be sharing pictures, behind the scenes, all that information that I would normally share on Instagram or Discord, I'll be sharing that via YouTube instead. It's sad to make this decision. I did hesitate to switch to Matrix. I don't want to go through and set up a whole new community for, I think, a majority of people who probably won't join. I'm not that active on my Discord, to be honest. I was a lot more active last year. And I just feel like the less places I am, the easier it is to focus on what I need to focus on. And the less pieces of me are floating around the internet. I'm not an influencer. I'm not trying to build a huge brand here. I'm just trying to share information or share things that I find interesting and topics that I deem important to know about. And I felt Discord was a great way to have people share that information together in the community, not just me preaching it out there. So I'm kind of sad about that. I'm hoping an open source option will appear that's more user-friendly. I don't have to set up my own servers and things like this. I just don't really, I'm really pregnant right now. I don't have the patience to set anything up. I'm just really exhausted at this point. And yeah, it's a decision I've made. It was a difficult decision to make for sure. Well, Matrix Space way before. I never had a Matrix Space. I was looking at Discourse, but of course someone notified me that I have to pay for that. I don't mind paying a small fee, but $20 a month is a bit excessive for something that I'm not going to have probably too many people join. I would like to go more old school, I guess, with a forum style if possible, but there are a lot of platforms that I'm really reevaluating at this point because of censorship, because of privacy concerns. It's known now that a lot of platforms are being used, especially in the US, to track people, especially for ICE at this point. So Reddit is another one out there that I need to jump off of. I don't mind. I guess I'm living in Europe, so if they're tracking me here, that's fine, I guess. But I still don't like my privacy being violated without my permission. And I don't want to support companies doing that to people and targeting groups of people. I think getting out of these applications like Discord kind of sends a message to those CEOs who are out to make a quick buck that, hey, if we don't have users, then we can't make money, basically. I'm not sure if Discord is a publicly traded company yet, but that was their goal. And I think with this news that kind of just blew up in their face, I think they're going to end up destroying the platform as it stands today. A lot of people switch to other platforms. I think there's also one, it was called Revolut, but I think it's called Stout now. There are alternatives, but they're not exactly the same. I don't know. It's a little bit of a Wild West now. I think it's a perfect opportunity for an app to come in and replace it, but it's going to take some time to develop, of course. Nobody wants to develop open source because they're not going to make money. And Europe is just so slow at this point. We'll maybe have an app in 10 years. So I don't know. I feel the internet is not what it used to be in general. I feel it's gone to a place that it's just, it's so small, it's so restrictive, it's lacking a lot of privacy, it's not fun anymore. I know for myself, being on the internet, especially in the early 2000s or late 90s, is a lot about exploring, finding out new information. And nowadays you kind of just set in your set of apps and you rotate through those apps. You're not really exploring as much. Maybe there's a link in one of those apps that you use that might take you out of the app, but chances are you're going to be just rotating through those simple apps over and over again. And I don't like that. I kind of want to go back to finding weird stuff on the internet, weird websites, some nice, interesting facts, history, people who are passionate about certain subject matters. I feel like the internet is dying, and it's dying because of applications and companies just locking people in algorithms at this point. And the internet wasn't created for that. The internet was created to share information, to connect people, to really have a free place for people to go from all over the world. No restrictions, I understand that there should be parental controls. I'm not saying that kids should be able to do whatever they want, but again, I think we should leave that to parents to help make those decisions. If parents are not informed, the internet exists. As a parent, you can watch YouTube videos to inform yourself. You can read about it. There are many books about how to parent, especially in the digital age. And that's kind of your job as a parent. I know for myself, it's difficult, yes, but it's important as well. I mean, we can't rely on governments and companies to parent our children, and nor should we. It's not a safe place. The exact user base who are enthusiasts are going to be super bugged by any of anti-privacy changes. Yeah. Companies use Discord exclusively for support. You need to support. You can feel trapped. Yeah. It's never about protecting each other. It's never about protecting the children. As we've seen recently in the news, nobody seems to care about protecting children in general. It's not really top of mind. It's just an excuse to take away privacy and take away the rights of the people using the products. And it's a marketing ploy at this point. And I'm not buying it. I don't feel I should have to sacrifice my privacy because there are some creeps on the internet. That's not my responsibility. Go after the creeps. Don't go after everyone and take their data, sell their data, and patronize people who know how to use the internet just to putting everybody in a category of child until you're willing to give up your private information to escape that bubble should be illegal as far as I'm concerned. Could you imagine if everything we did in life, by default, you're a kid. Try to open a bank account, try to buy a car. Sorry, you're a child, you're a child, you're a child. It's just unbelievable. And it's not where I thought, or probably anybody thought, the internet was going when it came out. I mean, it was so exciting in the beginning. I know we'll never get that back. I'm not naive or anything, but I feel, especially with smartphones and devices that have been developed just for app usage, it kind of blocks us into a walled garden of not being able to experience the possibilities of the internet and really be able to do things the way we want to do them. I understand a lot of companies use Discord for support. It is very, very convenient for that. I think some companies may have to rethink that model. I know for myself, I use the forums on specific sites for my products that I use. For example, Slimbook for my laptop. I'm always hanging out on the forums when I have a question or when I have some tech problems. The forums are pretty reactive. The people running it, of course, are the company. So it's very helpful in that realm of things. But I think a lot of people now don't have the reflex to go search for that information or to use a website, to be honest, anymore. If a company doesn't have an app, does the company exist? That's the question. It feels like everything needs an app. Every company where you buy something, the support is through an app, whether you bought the product through another seller such as Amazon or eBay. Websites are kind of dying. It's sad. I really like websites. Again, as somebody who's visually impaired, not all of us can see apps. And the way that they are more accessible is via a web browser. So if we just stop supporting web versions of applications or web versions of customer support, it's going to knock out a lot of people who can't access it on a phone. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. I think, it's really important now for companies who are really invested in digital minimalism, intentional tech use, non-big companies, period. Just for big tech, avoiding all of these as possible. If you have items, of course, maybe putting custom ROM on those things. I'm really thinking about going back to graphene. I know me and graphene have some beef, but honestly, for privacy, I think it's really the best option if you have a Pixel device, of course. There are so many great companies doing things that are there to help people kind of take back their relationship with tech and not let companies run their lives. And when you see things like this from Discord, companies are deciding things for you without your consent. And if you want to live freely, you can't with that specific app. And more apps are going to have these blocks for you to use them fully because a lot of countries are putting out regulations to protect the children. Let me put it out there. It's not protecting children if you're taking everybody's data and government-issued IDs and storing that information on a non-government app. That information will belong to another company who can do with it what they please. We don't know what's happening to that information. It'll probably get leaked at some point, so you can assume that your ID will just be floating around the internet. Whatever other information, your face, anything that you give to them will never be fully secure. Are they selling it? Probably. A lot of these companies are selling that information to help train AI. Discord themselves are going to be using AI to scan through all of the messages that you've posted and make a guesstimated age for the user. So this is why they're saying they're not going to be asking for IDs from everybody because they will have already scanned all of your interactions on Discord and can decipher approximately what age you are. So if you're somebody who's hanging around, probably on my server, they're going to assume you're probably not a teen because I don't know how cool digital minimalism or intentional tech is with the kids, but I'm guessing it's not a favorite subject matter. And so I think the users in those specific kinds of servers will be okay. But there are a lot of video games, there's a lot of discussion boards where the ages kind of mix together depending on the interests. So the fact that they're already scanning all your information, assume that every app is doing that, by the way. If you're using any meta app or things like this, they're already taking that information to train their AI. AIs are just constantly need to be fed data, so that data is becoming super valuable, especially today. And just giving it away to use an app that's not even a good app, I don't see the purpose in it anymore. What's your issue with Graphene? I've been using it since 2022. Only issue is banking apps. My issue is not Graphene itself. Graphene OS is fantastic. I highly recommend it. I think it speaks for itself. It works great for me. I haven't had any issues. My issue with Graphene are the people running Graphene and the way they communicate towards anybody talking about alternative custom operating systems. I've had some beef with them regarding EOS. I know EOS is not as secure and as private as Graphene, and I never claimed that. I just said EOS is another option for people who especially have Fairphones and things like this, an alternative to using Google, because I think everyone would be better off not using Android if possible. If possible. I know it's not always possible, but yeah. So me and Graphene have a beef regarding EOS. This happened on Blue Sky a while ago, a few months ago, I would say. They came after my my post, and I knew that it was going to come if I talked about it. It's a shame that they have to communicate in such a way to kind of make people angry. I know it made me angry. I like Graphene. I never said anything bad about Graphene. I think it's really a great option. Super private, super secure. Probably the best out there, to be honest. But they need to let their product speak for itself. And if they feel that their product is better, that's fine. I understand it. It is better. But communicate that in a way that people aren't feeling attacked, or, I don't know, write a blog post, make a video. I don't know. You shouldn't have to go after creators or people promoting other options for people to get off of Google. I was basically told by Graphene, you're better off using iOS than using EOS. My goal is to get people off big tech in general. I don't stand on that, and I don't want a company or a nonprofit organization coming in and telling me how I need to communicate what I want to communicate with my community. That's crossing the line for me. I wouldn't be okay with any company coming at me either. I would be really angry. So it's a shame. If they could fix that part of it, it would be perfect all the way around. But, it is kind of cultish. Everything's a cult nowadays, though. I think we're all at some kind of cult, it feels like. Graphene lists are all or nothing group, yeah. If you're not all in on Graphene, they're not your friends. And I think I'm pretty open-minded. I feel people should have the choice to use what they want to use, what works best for their life. I'm not saying anything is the best for anybody. Everybody's life is different. I'm not coming in telling you to use something over another thing. I'm just giving out the options, giving out my experience for using certain things. The same goes for any operating system that I test out. I'm not going to say, you need to do this. This is the best. If you don't use it, you're stupid. I am. Again, I'm not an influencer. But couldn't they be hyper enthusiastic without being jerks? Yeah, they could be super enthusiastic. They could, I don't know, be quirky about it or like make jokes about it, that's fine, but not attacking people. There's a clear line there of communication it's not working, and it's not working in their favor, unfortunately. And for me, that's kind of what put me off from graphene. After that, I was just like, I'm not using their product because they're jerks. I can't support jerks. I want people to just be happy and be off of Google or Apple products if possible. Give people options, but man, I'm thinking about switching back though. So the product is that good that I guess I'll just take the abuse at this point. I don't know. Are the Pixel cameras as good when using Graphene OS? The problem with the Pixel camera when using Graphene OS, it's not as good with the default apps or with other open source camera apps. So if you're looking to use the full potential of the Pixel camera application, you will have to install Micro G and get the Google services. I usually do this on a separate profile. So I keep my profile sandboxed. So if I'm using Graphene, I have stuff that I want to keep away from Google. I keep that in a separate profile, such as banking or any medical information or things like this. And I have a separate profile for content creation and have the Pixel camera in that specific profile if possible. So I usually keep an open source camera in my general profile that I use every day, but in content creation, I will use the Pixel camera application in a separate profile just to be extra safe about how I'm using it. But honestly, it's not that noticeable unless you're really, really focused on the quality, I guess. So it gets by. Most phones, honestly, even the lowest grade of Android phones are good enough, honestly. If it scans a QR code, it's good. But if you're a content creator, I understand there's a little bit higher pressure, higher quality. So, yeah. I haven't installed anything Google online. Yeah, if you can avoid Google altogether. I did this now with my Selfish OS, my Yola phone. I removed all of the Micro Gs, all the Googles. I don't want anything Google on it. I want to feel clean when using certain devices. When I'm using a device where I just want to focus on what I need to focus on without all the crap and the battery drain, it's just getting crazy. I don't know if any of you have noticed recently, but especially with Android and Google specific devices, I'm currently using a Pixel 10 Pro. I could be doing nothing. I could leave it on the side of my desk, which I usually do. The battery drain is so bad. I'm running stock Android on it right now, but I'm only using it for content creation. But still, even that, I don't even have any of the Google applications except for YouTube, of course, and it's still just draining like I've never seen before. It's only getting worse, and the batteries are getting bigger for devices because the data collection is getting more crazy. It feels the same for Windows. If anyone's updated their Windows 11, I don't have Windows 11, but I have family members who've had a lot of issues. It's, of course, eating all of the RAM. But even basic applications now are just not working in Windows 11. It's just insane. The enshittification of technology is really on a roll. I think that should be the motto for 2026. How bad can we make it for everybody? How pissed off can we make the general public about every product that they use? We can add a subscription model. We can constantly take their data. We can make everything slower and more expensive and just ruin everything. That's the goal. It feels like that's the goal for everyone. Just make tech crap, cars, put subscription models in everything. Just cars, refrigerators, anything you want to use. Pay a fee. 100% agree. Convenient. I am also in the process of purging Google, currently using Entei for photos. Woo! I love Entei. Hint, Entei is dropping a new product this week. Hopefully, I will get a video out about it. But keep an eye out this Friday for Entei. They have other things coming our way, and it's pretty exciting. I love that they're open source. I love the interface. I use Entei across every product, every operating system. I've not had any issues with it. Migration, it depends on where you're migrating from. I migrated a lot of Google pictures. I migrated iOS as well. Apple was a mess. It just took forever. I also migrated my personal photos that I had on a hard drive. That was the easiest. I think the easiest, if you're migrating, is maybe to export everything and then import it directly. I think that might work the best, but once that process is done, smooth sailing. I use it a lot for content creation because I can take, of course, video with my phone. It automatically syncs with the app like it would any app. If you're using, for example, Apple Photos and you have an iPhone, it's kind of the same situation. It just works well. I haven't had any issues, and I can't hype them enough. It's just a product I really like. I think I'm also going to jump into discussing services that I use that I haven't really gone into depth about for reviews, such as my email. Everyone knows I'm using Postio because it's everywhere on my YouTube information for business or for contact information. I think the more we share about the products that we use, the more we show the reality of using those products. Are they perfect? No. Do they cost a bit of money? Yes. Postio for email is quite cheap. It's €1 a month. You can add additional aliases for a couple cents each month extra, which is really not bad. And is it the perfect system for everybody? No. If you want a custom domain, it's not the place for you. This is because of the privacy laws, and especially in Germany, they can be quite strict with domains and things like this. So there are pluses and minuses to each product. I want to go through and talk about the ones that I'm using currently, because since last year, I've changed a couple of them. I'm in the process of changing a couple more. I think it's important to not give brand loyalty for life for a lot of things, especially if you're not happy with it. Change it. I know email is not easy to change. I'm not telling everybody to just give up your email. I'm still migrating. I think it's going to take years before all of my old Google email addresses have been purged of my life. I still get notifications on old emails that I forgot about or services that I was using. And I just forward all those emails into my new email, so it's not an issue, but still it takes a process. It's not automatic. It's a pain in the butt to change everything. A lot of times your email is associated with a login for something, so you might have to change your account information for certain places. It's a pain in the butt, but it's worth it. It's so worth it to get away from something as hellish as I wouldn't say Google is hellish, but if you put all of your information, everything into it, or even Apple for that reason, you're just giving them so much more power over you, giving them the whole profile of your life. If you have your calendar, if you have your photos, your drive, everything in your life is associated with one company. That's really giving them so much information and so much power that I don't think they deserve. I think spread your love a little bit around there. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as I would say, and try different things. Try open source, try newer companies, try companies that are hosted near you, maybe self-hosted, for those of you who like Imic and things like this. There's so many options out there. I don't think we should just find a whole new packet of stuff to move from. That's the one thing I have the problem with Proton. I understand people love Proton. It's great. It's way better than using Google or Apple. But I don't want to put everything in the same company again. That's the only reason I stopped from switching directly to Proton. Would it be easier? Hell yes. If I put everything there, it would be so much easier to manage my family, to manage everyone at the same time. But that's not what I was looking for personally. If that's what you're looking for, do it. Go for it. If that makes your life easier and you're happier, I'm really happy for you. But that just wasn't my personal goal. My goal is to try as many things as possible, find what sticks, what doesn't stick, and yeah, just see what's out there in the world. I don't want to be spoon-fed tech. I don't want to have a device and be like my parents or older people who just accept all the default apps and use everything that's already installed, even if it's not something I've used before. And my first reaction when I get a new phone is to uninstall everything or put a custom ROM on it because I don't want it. I don't want to be told what to use. I don't think any of us should be told what to use. Always question the apps that are on your device by default, no matter who's putting out that device. I remember last year when I tried, maybe the year before actually. Oh my gosh, I've had this channel for almost 2 years. I'm really having trouble thinking back which devices I used. But I did use a Motorola Razr flip phone, of course. And the default apps they had installed on there were horrendous. TikTok, LinkedIn, another hellscape that I'm glad I got out of a couple years ago. Just so many default garbage apps, games that I don't even play. Everything was installed, and I think of my parents, and whenever they get a device, they just keep everything on there. They don't go through and say, well, I don't really need this specific app, and I should probably remove it. First of all, they don't know how to remove it. Second of all, they'll probably open it and leave it open on their device and drain their battery even more. And they're just content. And a lot of these apps run in the background. A lot of these apps are continuously taking information from other apps. And there's so many risks involved, and people just don't know. And I don't know. I think once your eyes have been open to certain things, it's really hard to just live normal and naive. I kind of envy that again. And when the news came out about Discord, I'm just like, oh no, I think this information hit harder because of the people going through the information being taken or the privacy being taken in the UK. And I just think oh gosh, now they're all going to start doing it because of these rules. Love Proton so much, but I totally get your point of view. Yeah. I use Proton Mail. I transitioned from Gmail and happy with Proton Mail. Are you a gamer? I wish. I tried to start a gaming channel. I just can't get onto it. The problem with gaming, I was using Linux. I'm still using Linux. I'm using Fedora. But the software I was using to record was OBS, and OBS and Fedora aren't friends at the moment. I don't know. It doesn't work. It was a disaster. So I didn't record much on that. Currently, I'm streaming and using for content creation a Mac Mini M2. Mac Mini M2 Pro. I'm not exactly sure. And OBS does work. I really like OBS. So I'm not really going to pay for another service when this service works perfectly fine. But I just wish that it would work with Linux a bit better. I would like to be a Linux gamer if possible. I just need to get my setup organized, I think. I'm having a lot of I'm having a lot of problems with Linux at the moment with my setup as it used to be. I used to use DaVinci Resolve. I used to use OBS. I pretty much used all of my content creation apps perfectly fine with Fedora 42 and Fedora 41, to be honest. And once I upgraded, just everything broke, which I think is normal, at least in my case. I got hair in my mouth. And I'm having a hard time. I was thinking of doing a dual boot system with Windows and Linux on the same laptop, just because it would be easier to use certain applications for editing and streaming directly with Windows. Unfortunately, I hate Windows, and Windows hates me because I can't get it installed on my on my Slimbook. So it's a difficult situation. I'm kind of using two computers depending on what task I'm using, and it's annoying. I wish I could just use my Slimbook and be done with Apple because I don't really like it. It does work. It does have accessibility. I do appreciate that, but I don't want to be in it longer than I have to. Not on 43. 43 worked for me. 43 is not working. It's working for everything except for, my DaVinci Resolve. I think it's a me problem. I need to spend time with it. But the problem with Linux, I have to really sit down and focus on it. I'm again pregnant and not patient at all. I really don't have the patience. I need to plug and play. And honestly, even Apple is pissing me off at this point, and they're not working as well as I would like. Nothing's working for me. Everything makes me angry at this point. I'm just a hormonal mess. So after I give birth, hopefully I can get back to focusing more on my Linux performance besides just doing menial tasks on it at the moment. So that's my tech at the moment. I'm having issues with which device to use for my phone. I've gone through and I've switched back out of the Q25. It was working great for me. Speaking of the Q25, I did get a new back case for it, if anyone was curious about that journey. I ordered it online for 10 euros, I think. So she's got a new case. So it's white on the back, black on the front. I'm thinking about changing the chin of the device white as well, but I'm going to keep the keyboard black because I can't see the white keyboards. I love white keyboards, the look. I have a BlackBerry Passport, even the minimal phone, I have a white keyboard. I just can't see enough, even with the backlight of the keys, to type. But it's so beautiful. I love white devices because of the contrast, but not enough contrast for the keys. I think that Minimal did a good job with the Panda device for the Minimal, and with the Clicks communicator coming out with the black keys and the white device. Perfect combo. Enough contrast to see the keys and use the keys without having the difficulty of the white blindness. I just can't see white with lights. It doesn't work. My brain just sees blur. Are you considering giving SidePhone a try? I'm waiting for SidePhone to sell in Europe. Once they are selling in Europe, I might give them a try. I'm open to it. I'm really excited to see how everyone's devices will work. I'm looking forward to your video, Jake. I'm excited about it. I'm really pumped for them. I'm happy that they got the device, I think, finally shipped to the US, so that's good news. Black and white, nice look. I have used Discord, and I notice I can open it if I search for it in Apple apps. If I delete it permanently from my phone, am I free of it, or can they still track you? Rick, you can delete it from your app, but your account will still exist. I don't think they can track you if it's not on any devices and you're not using it. But I highly recommend, if you have any account for any application that you no longer want to use, to just delete the account. Because there are people who are going to maybe try to get into that account and hack it. This happens a lot for social media applications. I know it happens like every day for my Instagram accounts that I don't use anymore. So I went through and just deleted all of my accounts today for Instagram. I was like, I'm done with it. I understand a lot of creators who use multiple platforms to promote their content. It's super important for content creators. There's a lot of pressure to be present on all social media platforms, but I don't want to be that creator anymore. I don't want to give my soul to big tech. I'm done. I hate Meta. I hate Google. I hate being forced to use applications that I don't agree with. And I felt I was using Instagram for a long time because I felt it would help maybe reach people that needed to see the content that I was posting or be interested in it. I didn't have many followers. I didn't really post enough. I'm not an Instagrammer by any means, and it just didn't fit with me. Let's not have zombie accounts. That's a good motto. That sounds like a good t-shirt. No more zombie accounts, everybody. Delete your accounts if you stop using the product. It still compromises your data if somebody's lucky enough to find your password in another data leak for another product and you use the same password as well. It's just a good idea to get rid of it all. Delete it all. I will be deleting my Discord by the end of the week. I will be deleting my account associated with Discord by the end of the week. I'm just giving it a couple days because not everyone's on Discord all the time, and I did make the announcement today to my server that I will be removing it, so I wanted to give people some time to log in and see and kind of understand what's going on and why I made this decision. Didn't make it lightly, but I'm definitely not backing a company stealing people's privacy or making us all kids by default. I don't want to go back to being a teenager. I lived it. I don't want to go back. There's no desire to be a child, especially on the internet. I don't want to be treated like a child on the internet, and I'm just going to keep reiterating this. It's so crazy to treat your user base by default as a child. It's not protecting anybody. You're limiting people. Although as a sci-fi twist might make a good movie. The zombie accounts. I think in the future, the zombie accounts will just be AI bots taking over accounts that have correctly guessed your password based on what you've used on the internet and how detailed the profiles have gotten from specific apps using our information or collecting our data. We all have user profiles, and the problem is that there are powerful companies creating these profiles based on the data that we've put out there, and that data and information is being used against us, especially in countries like the US at the moment. Of course, we know China has the same issues. There are scores basically of how likely you are to be part of certain groups or what political party you're affiliated with, where you like to shop, which income you have, how much education you have. All of this information is gathered through different applications that we've used, different sites we've put information on. And those profiles have become pretty good at knowing all about us without us giving the exact information, just data harvesting, everything. When you think of when we first started using social media, how much information we were just giving out for free. When Facebook had likes, for example, and you liked movies, you liked TV shows, you liked specific comments that you agreed with. Facebook is just a hellhole of data collection. Get out of it. If you're on Facebook, just get out of it. Just use Messenger if you have to contact people or something. If you really have to stay in it, but just get away from the Facebook. It's not a great place. What are the specs of your laptop? I don't know them off the top of my head. I just looked at them today too because I was trying to find some drivers because I was trying to install Windows to dual boot with Linux. I have an AMD graphics card. That's about as crazy as it gets there. NVIDIA, of course. What one? I don't know. It says it on my computer, but I'm just too lazy to open it. But I am using a Slimbook Creative 15. I've spec'd it out a little bit more with lots of RAM. I didn't foresee the future of the RAM shortage, but I think my computer's worth more just in RAM alone. I have 64 gigs of RAM in it. I'm going to pass it down as an heirloom to my child. It's insane how expensive RAM has gotten. I'm glad I got it when I got it because this computer is going to have to last me for a lifetime now. I would not be able to afford a new computer at this point. It's crazy, the used market for computers, how much the prices have gone up because of the RAM shortage. and it's going to teach people to hold on to things a lot longer. Yeah. I have some RAM sticks on the side. I think I have 32 gigs. I have 16. And I think if I have a friend getting married or something, what a gift. What a gift, some RAM sticks. Yeah, it's really a good idea not to use your real name on the internet. I had to learn this the hard way, unfortunately. An alias is always good to have for online presence. Don't put your real locations in. Don't put all that information in anymore. It still feels though they get a lot of information without you putting information in. For example, how long they see that your eyes are tracking on certain advertisements in certain apps, where your eyes are tracking on specific words, where your fingers are going on the device, what you're typing in on that specific app or on the device in general, if you're using Gboard. So much information can be collected that you would deem not really confidential, but it is. If a company knows exactly everything you type on your keyboard, it's really crossing the line, especially if you're using an app that's not connected to a service where you want to share that information. And what if that's your private notes app or intellectual property that you don't want to have companies have access to? There's so many things that could go wrong. It might be known as paranoia for some people. It might be, I don't know. I definitely sound like a tinfoil hat with most people, but I feel like it's something as a society, as the world is going the way it's going, I think people just need to become more aware of these situations. When you see apps like Discord, something that's super mainstream, making a huge decision like this to change their policies, and the impact that it's having in tech, of course, is huge. But I think in general population, people are talking about it, and that's a good thing. The more people are aware of this, the more people should push back on it, should leave the app. That's why I chose to leave too. The best message you can send to all of these services is to leave it. Delete your account, don't use it. That hurts them more than anything because they can't collect that information from you. They can't use that information to train AI. They can't sell that information. They can't try to upsell you on a service on their platform that you're not even interested in. So there's so many things that cuts off from them by just leaving, just deleting your account. And you have more power than you think you have. I think that's what people don't realize. If millions of people stop using something, companies definitely listen, and you will see leadership change. You will see people losing their jobs at the top levels when this happens, because this is clearly a problem within the leadership of the company. They're trying to make more money, of course. They're going to be making money in nefarious ways, of course, by selling your data. But just be aware. You have more power than you think you do. And just reminding people that you, as a single person, of course, you feel you don't have power, but there are other people who think like you. And if we share that what we think companies are doing are not right, we can kind of just push that wave a little bit further. The thing is probably so much worse than we've realized because we only have data that have been made public or leaked. Yeah. You can request data from certain applications, and it's a lot to take in when you get that information. One time I decided to ask Facebook about the data that they had collected on me, and it made me physically ill. It's not for the light of heart how much information they have on you. And who knows the full capacity of the information they're collecting. I think they're only obligated to share certain criteria publicly with you that you can request. Of course, there's that information as far as the app running in the background. What information is it taking from other applications on your device? What information is it taking in general from your microphone? There's so many ways they can collect data that we don't know. And they're not forthright on how they're using the technology. and they're not being held accountable. That's the major part here. We have all of this government regulations going through to protect children, but what about everybody else? I think we all deserve to have our privacy protected. As a parent, I can protect my child, but who's going to protect me? If I don't know what they're doing to my information, where that information's ending up, who has that information and what they're using it against me, I don't, it's scary. It's not fair. It's really not fair. Wear your tinfoil hat with pride. I do wear it with pride. I'm a proud. It seems like people who are into conspiracy theories recently have been correct. So maybe it's not so bad to be a tinfoil hat wearer. We have enough mind. The invasion of privacy is sickening. Friends, fam, iPhones, Android refuses to look at alt software with stock all the way. Yeah. Convince what they sell, control, you take back. The problem I have a lot of times, and I think a lot of people do who are aware of what's happening, is you can't make other people feel the same way, no matter how much you try to express that information, pass on the knowledge, try to educate your family members. Not everyone's going to care. And that's frustrating. I don't think people realize how important privacy is until it's gone. And then it's too late. And the people who are screaming about privacy now are seen as crazy, as paranoid, but there's reasons why those people are screaming. It's the canary in the coal mine. It's, if we don't protect it, we'll never get it back. It'll be gone forever. And that sucks. I don't want to become the person who lives off grid on an island or in the woods somewhere, not connected to any technology, but it feels like it's pushing me that way. What can I use? My app list is getting a lot smaller. It's really getting hard to be a content creator when you hate every company out there. It's really counterproductive, I guess, to be a content creator. I should love every social media platform, blindly take my data, just make people engage with my content. No. Big retail chains now say it can predict certain customers' future illnesses by analyzing their historical purchase. We need to stop collecting everyone's data on everything. It's just insane what they're able to predict. I hate algorithms. I hate it all. I just hate it all. I don't want to know everything. I don't know what diseases I could potentially get. There's reasons why you have to sign forms when you're getting genetic testing done, because this, as I know, I have a few genetic disorders. This rocks your life and everyone around you. So if you start having algorithms predicting what potential illnesses you can have or what potential things could go wrong in your life, this could really impact people's mental health in a serious way. And we're already seeing that with social media impacting people's mental health. So imagine if we don't need some information. Just some information's better left undiscovered. Educating family members, super frustrating. Yeah. The best we can do as far as education, especially if you're a parent, is just to pass on that knowledge to your children and hope that they pass that on to their children. Got to start young. I feel with my parents, it's kind of a lost cause at this point. I've tried to switch them to alternative messaging applications such as Signal. It's just, no, they can't even get to WhatsApp. They're stuck in Facebook Messenger. I can't get them out of it. They don't want to try. As soon as I say download an app, they panic. And they don't want to learn. They're not open to learning. They're not open to understanding how their thoughts and their ideas are being influenced by an algorithm. And that's frustrating because I can see people in my life change, or people become radicalized for certain ideals of things that doesn't make any sense at some point. I'm not even talking just about politics. I'm talking about health things or just weird stuff that Facebook pushes people into specifically. And when you try to explain, algorithms are pushing people to engage with content that makes them angry and show them that content keep them there longer, and change their beliefs. And it's insane the power that social media has over people. And when you try to explain that to people, they think you're crazy. And some people do, they agree. They're like, oh yeah, I think, yeah, it's probably a problem, but they're addicted, so they're not going to stop. They don't care in the end. Their enjoyment out of getting angry at things is more important than their privacy, than anything, than their time, their life. It's very frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. And yeah, it's really sucks. It's really, really sucks. I just want people to be able to make their own decisions, think for themselves, question everything. I think we got complacent with how technology was spoon feeding us everything, taking headlines as news, not actually reading the articles, not just thinking for yourself. It's hard to think. I know, and no one wants to sit there and question everything. It's not some people's human nature. I'm just somebody who's always skeptical, but not everyone is like that. I understand that. I don't expect everybody to think like me, but just at one point you have to think, what is the goal of this thing that I'm using? What do they want from me? They want my attention. They want my engagement. They want me to buy things because it's all going to link to advertisements. And I think, yeah, it sucks. The internet went from nice luxury to near necessity. That's the problem. And that's the problem I had with digital minimalism. I think I approached digital minimalism in the way that Cal Newport had intended. And I say that specifically because digital minimalism was coined by Cal Newport, I think in his book in 2018. And it's the way you use tech and how you use tech intentionally, of course, and really being conscious of what tech is getting from you and what you're getting from tech. And I'm really trying to focus on that for the devices I use, for the software that I use, and how much time and resources I put into those devices, because we can't buy time. As much as crazy billionaires try to live forever, we're not going to live forever. And the time that we have is so finite that it's frustrating how companies just eat it up. Just eat up our time. Like it's an infinite resource, and it's not, unfortunately, as much as we would all love it to be. And I think that's the core for me for digital minimalism, is really just taking back ownership of how you use tech as a tool and not let tech run your life. And it's hard. It's honestly hard when everything pushes you to have an application. Once you use an application for something that you need to use it for healthcare reasons or something, then you end up sucked into other apps unnecessarily just because out of habit, out of anxiety, out of boredom. It's just how they're designed. It's just how the devices are designed. And unfortunately, I mean, there are companies out there who are creating devices to break that cycle, to help you focus. But even sometimes I still find myself taking a SIM card back out of one of those devices and putting it back into a smartphone because life is just easier. There's a lot of friction with using devices that are designed to make you not addicted. Sometimes that friction becomes overwhelming, especially when you have other things going on in your life. You have a family to manage, you have a job to manage, you have all these things going on in life, and you're just trying to get back some of that time so you can spend it with your family and your friends. And that friction gets overwhelming because everything else gets overwhelming, and it's just, whoa, it's like a snowball effect. And the easiest thing to do is just put it back in my smartphone and deal with it later. I just don't want to think about it right now. And I'm definitely one of those people in those categories. I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything. I'm far from it. Like, I'm somebody who just swings back and forth. I go from hardcore dumb phone to back to using stock Android, which is disgusting. Just disgusting. I can't even admit that, but I'm admitting it. I'm using stock Android at the moment. Blah. It's an Ethan Hawke movie about medical predictions, limiting people's futures and job possibilities. Yeah. God. There's a lot of sci-fi movies about limiting people based on their health reasons or potential health reasons based on like the urine analysis, having a smart toilet and things like this, and how insurance companies could charge you more for premium out of potentially you developing certain conditions. There's so much information that can go wrong. And that's why I'm really against smart everything. I don't think we need a smart device for everything in our lives, because the information and the data that is collected on those specific smart devices can be used against us. And we should always question it. Who's getting that information? Does that company storing that information securely? Is it going to be leaked out? I mean, there is a smart toilet device. I don't think I want my poo information known by every company who wants to create a profile on me. That's just weird. It's not information I'm willing to share. And yeah, everything looks cool when it's smart, but when that smart scale starts sending your weight information to insurance companies or people who are going to charge you more money in the end to just live your life, it's just crazy. People should never underestimate paper, pen, calculator, imagination. I'm back to the paper and pen for my planner, actually. I'm on a paper planner. Woo! I had to get a felt tip pen so I could see what I was writing. And it's nice having a paper planner again. It's doodling, being bored. I think the thing is we need to be comfortable with being bored again. It doesn't feel good to the brain. The brain's always going to want to be entertained, want to have some kind of stimulus. Being bored is so important for creativity, for just peace of mind, letting your mind invent things. It's such a beautiful thing to be bored, and it's something that we don't get enough of. And it's something that kids don't get enough of anymore. Imagination is so powerful and so important for the development of a child. And if you're just putting them in front of an iPad or a movie or anything that's going to give them the quick dopamine, it's really robbing them of a future of thinking on their own. It's sad because you're seeing a lot more of it. I guess probably because I'm a parent, I'm seeing other kids, I'm talking to other parents, to teachers. There's a huge shift of how kids interact and how kids just play or just try to learn with the world that's around them. It's sad to see how a lot of kids don't know how to do things because of screens or because of lack of boredom. There's no imagination. I can even see it sometimes with my kid. I'm just like, think of a funny story. It's really hard to think outside the box or to be creative, even for a child. And that's really important. And it's really good to push kids that way, but also push yourself that way. I think what people aren't talking about is older people. And I have a fear that with parents or grandparents that are using these devices like addicts, I don't think people are talking enough about older people and their addiction to their phones and their tablets, that it might cause cognitive issues that could lead to dementias, could lead to Alzheimer's, because they're not engaging their brain as much as they would as previous generations. I remember having grandparents that were knitting, doing puzzles, crosswords, doing manual things with their hands. Now it's just scrolling on a screen. How good is that for the brain when you're older? Your brain needs to be bored, needs to be challenged at any age. And the impacts of not challenging it, I think, are going to be very evident very soon. And nobody's sticking up for the old people right now. They're just kind of letting them be, scrolling on their phones. I think we need to raise the red flag and say, hey, this isn't healthy for old people either. We're always after the children because it is important for children. Of course, I think it's the most important, but I think we need to think of the older people as well. We can't just leave them behind. No tablets or phones, yeah. I only have a 5-year-old at the moment. Doesn't have a tablet, doesn't have a phone. If he does play games, it's on a Game Boy Color. It's very restricted. It's very limited. Does have some TV time, but no ads. It's streaming apps through the French government that have no ads generally, or no ads at all because we pay for it. And I'm just super involved. Even when he's playing on the Game Boy, I'm playing with him. We play a lot of like Pokemon, training up the Pokemon, going fights and winning at certain gyms. We do it together. It's a thing that I want to be a part of, my child using tech while I'm there. I don't think tech is bad. I think unlimited access to the internet is very bad. Unlimited access to any screen is bad. Everything is fine with limits and explaining those reasons to people, or kids especially, why they can't use something 24/7, why it's not good to watch TV all night. There's reasons and methods behind parenting that maybe people don't want to think about or really want to put the time into it. And it's hard because technology is evolving so fast. And as parents, of course, we have to evolve with it and therefore be on top of it for our children. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. It's part of being a parent. I'm sure our parents and our grandparents, things came out that they were concerned about and had to really be aware of. And some parents just didn't give a crap. We know that. But it felt like in the 70s, there was a lot of serial killers going around. I'm not saying I didn't grow up in the 70s, but I felt like there was a good chance you're going to get abducted and killed is like all I'm saying. And my family definitely reacted to that by putting strict limits on when you were outside. Don't talk to strangers. There were so many things put into place in that time period because of the things that were happening. Like the people are the product of their time. So we just have to adapt to our time, which just happens to be very tech driven. And it's easy to parent with a tablet. I understand why people do it. I understand when you have so much going on in your life, you're working 2 or 3 jobs, you have multiple kids, you might be a single parent, you don't have time to sit there and explain things. Totally get it. I come from a single parent household as well. But I didn't have unlimited access to the internet. I didn't have unlimited access to games if I wanted to. I had limits still, even with a single parent, and I was still educated on certain things that I think are really important as a base level for humanity. Probably going to get ours a Game Boy Chromatic handhelds for their birthday. Oh, Game Boys are great. Bring back handhelds without internet. I think gaming devices have evolved into cash cows of impulse purchases, and the small microtransactions have ruined gaming completely. Gaming was a lot better when we had a gaming cartridge and a device that was not connected to the internet. It was the best time of gaming. You can't convince me of anything else. I don't care if I sound old. Just the internet shouldn't be involved in games. I think for adults, that's fine. That's a decision you make if you want to do games online. But I think for kids, it's never a good idea to have the internet. As an 80s kid, every stick was a lightsaber. Yeah, ninja sword, machine gun. Did have cool toys, of course. Imagination, exploring, free. I feel like seeing children nowadays, you don't see them doing the things that we did as kids, exploring the woods, always out on bikes. I don't think I ever was in the house as a child. Building forts, climbing trees, just being connected with nature, super important, I think, for humans in general. I think we all need to go out and touch grass, but especially children. And yeah, just being bored and creating games. It's also very important. Toys aren't everything. Toys are good, of course, but I don't think your whole life needs to be revolved around toys, and especially electronics. I'm not happy with how AI is being integrated into children's toys more and more as we go into the future. The data that they're collecting on us is one thing, but the data they're collecting on children is another thing. should be illegal. Why is that not illegal? We're not protecting the children. Come on, we're supposed to protect the children. It's not the goal. The goal is to make money, collect data. So coming back, Laura, there are at least 5 different companies making new Game Boy games. Yes, I'm happy to hear it. I'm really looking to get a different handheld device. I've been keeping an eye on your videos, Jake, because I'm really curious about the devices you've been using lately. I like handheld gaming devices. I'm kind of stuck in my old games, though. I'm playing Pokemon Blue right now in French. I'm learning the Pokemon in French because, of course, I grew up in the US, so I learned all the Pokemon names in English, but I have not learned them in French. And since my son is 5 and very much into Pokemon, I have to learn them in French. Otherwise, I can't communicate with them. We're not on the same level. There are some with the same names, but there are some with very different names, and my brain is like, whoa, this is a whole new world again. It's like learning all over again, being a kid, and it's great. Get some Evercade. They have carts. I was outside all day until night. It was time for the video games. Atari was my first gaming console. Wow, I'm jealous. My first gaming console was... I had a Super Nintendo for my personal first gaming. I used gaming consoles in my family. Just the regular Nintendo, the NES. I'm trying to think what other ones. My uncle, he had every gaming console. So whenever we wanted to play games, we just went to his house. And I had friends who had specific consoles that weren't available. Pretty much you made your friends based on which console they had. It was impossible to own every console. They were way too expensive. And I'd be like, that's my Sega friend over there. That's my Nintendo 64 friend over there. Everyone had a different console, and you would have your friend groups based on that, and the games that you play were based around that. I hated the Super Nintendo. I thought it was awful. The games were awful. No one wanted to play it with me. So after that, I just got out of consoles and went to PC. I think I just went right into PC for the longest time. And then PlayStation. My brother had gotten PlayStation, and that changed my life. Those first PlayStation games that came out was just, whoa, the graphics were amazing. Now looking back, it looks so bad, but it was such a huge deal when it came out. It was so mind-blowing. The graphics in Tomb Raider were just so good. So bad, but so good. I remember the Sega Dreamcast too. No one really liked it, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. But now I don't. I have a Nintendo Switch, and yeah, it's okay. It wasn't as exciting as the Wii. I have my Wii still. That's still, I think, one of my favorite Nintendo consoles of all time. That was really revolutionary. I remember getting the Wii. I still have my original Wii that I bought. Love it. I love it. And I think that's what I really miss about gaming in general, especially older games, is that you could keep them forever. You can have your game cartridges or your CDs. The physical media that went with gaming is something that I never thought would go away. And now when you see that games are only downloadable, it's sad. I think a big part of gaming is blowing out those cartridges or having the physical collection of the games on hand was such an experience and such like a rite of passage when you had all your games organized for your Game Boy and your friends, and you're like, look at my games. I color coordinated them. They're beautiful. It's something kids don't have now. They just want the quick gratification of downloading the game and playing it and then being bored 2 seconds later. It's not the same gaming experience. And companies have a lot more control over that media. They can remove it. They can modify it. It's you don't own anything. The ownership is gone for so many things, not just games, for music, for movies, for everything. It just bring back ownership. That's just, I want to own things again. I'm tired of paying for things. I feel if you pay for something and you don't own something, then piracy isn't stealing, essentially, because even if you pay for it, you don't own it. So what if you take it for free? How is that? You're not stealing. It doesn't exist. It's like Velociraptor. Remember that meme? The old memes? Velociraptor. Evercade has many devices, all cart based. Look it up. I'll look it up. Evercade. I'm looking it up. Oh. I'll look it up. I don't want to get too much into it because, man, I get sucked into the gaming. But yeah, let's bring back physical media, everybody. I've been trying to migrate all of my content onto a self-hosted server. I've been using Jellyfin, and it's very user-friendly, I think, but still it's over my head for some situations. I can't figure out how to access it outside of my house. But it's fine. I'm in my house when I'm watching content, so it's not the biggest issue. But I do like using it to... I've been ripping all of my DVDs, putting my TV shows, and just trying to get away from streaming platforms as much as possible. It's something that I've been doing for the past couple years. It's something that I've been doing since the beginning of my channel, basically. I really hate how everything is subscription based, how everything is, you just don't own it. Like, I want to own stuff again. It feels like the further we go into the future, the more content people are just to pay subscription and not own something. And I don't know if you saw recently with Tesla, they're rolling back their option for the autopilot. I don't own a Tesla and I don't intend to, but people did pay a steep fee to be able to have the autopilot feature. I think it was around $8,000 to have it for life. And now they're removing that feature and making people pay on a subscription basis. And I'm seeing this with a lot of car manufacturers, which is worrying. That just to use a vehicle that you purchase, that you think you own it, but you don't own all the features. And seeing that happening with so many things. I can only imagine it's going to start happening with phones. Imagine that you get a phone, you have all of the specs by default, but you don't have access to all of the specs by default, if you know what I mean. Imagine you buy an iPhone and you have an amazing camera, but it will only use a certain percentage of that camera unless you want to pay a subscription fee to have full access to it. Or you have 16 gigabytes of RAM, but unless you pay a subscription fee, you'll only be using 12 for the foreseeable future, or 12 for the first tier, and then 6 for the first tier of free, 12 for a little bit of fee, and then the full 16 if you want to pay the full fee for Apple Premium. Or I can only imagine it's going to get worse with subscription models and hardware mixed together. I think it's a deadly combination for tech and for customers, or for people who just buy things. You won't own things. And it's getting like that for so many things, and I'm worried where it's going. And we already see now with the RAM shortage that computers are going to become harder and harder for people to own. A lot of people don't even own a computer or want to own one. And companies like Amazon are stepping in and saying, hey, you can rent a computer through the cloud and do what you need to do, but you won't own that computer. You will just be renting it from Amazon. that's insane. Like, that's so insane to even consider that the work I do, any content that I create, would be going through a cloud on a platform that I think is disgusting. And they could have potential access to all of that. It's the ramifications of not owning something are so high when you are, again, trying to keep your privacy. They don't need to see everything you do. This one for Jellyfin, I love it so much. It is good. I've used Plex for my music collection several years now. There's about 1,000 albums on there. Wow. I was trying Jellyfin out for music as well. I put a few things on there, nothing crazy. It's great to have limited access to features on your devices unless you pay for it. I'm telling you, it's coming out, the limited access for features on hardware. If they're already doing it for cars, they're doing it obviously for the fridge and the ad situation. But imagine, you have certain cycles on your washing machine that you can't access unless you pay a premium subscription to have access to those specific wash cycles. Or it could go so far with subscriptions and microtransactions that we're just scratching the surface. I think today they're really pushing people to the point of just a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there, but you spread that around everywhere. People are spending a lot of money each month on subscriptions. I don't think people realize how much is going towards subscriptions. And I know I'm just throwing my parents under the bus. But older people fall victim to these subscriptions because of the practices companies do to get them sucked in. I think my in-laws were signed up to Kindle Unlimited, Amazon Prime, just through all the Amazon products because it just is easy to click on, and they didn't realize that they were accessing or having all these subscriptions attached to them, and they weren't even using them. That's the thing. It's one thing if you subscribe to something and you use it a lot and it really does make your life a bit better, but it's another thing when you're just predatory hunting people down to get them subscribed to things and putting things in big flashy colors, and they just click on it because they think that's what they're supposed to click on because it's the biggest one. It sucks. It really sucks. Hi there, how are you? Did not know you were streaming today. Yes, I'm doing well. I'm streaming today. It's been every Wednesday recently. I think Wednesdays are my streaming days again. It took me a while to get back to a rhythm of streaming. I need to make some videos. I know that. I've been slacking on my videos. I'd like to make a plan of what videos I would like to cover, but I'm somebody who's also a creative, and I can't plan things as much as I would like to because I like to create content that's inspiring me at the moment. I was going to do a video dedicated to just Discord, but I feel it's already been done, and it's something that I wanted to talk to people in real time about and get opinions on people's reaction to the new Discord policy in real time, because I think it's really an important subject for all of us to discuss and get different perspectives on it in real time. I could do a video on it, of course, but I don't think I will, going into depth about the depravity of Discord's privacy policy. But with that being in mind, we're all still teenagers, so I mean, fountain of youth, we're all teenagers according to Discord. So this is good news for all of us who felt like we're looking old or feeling old. It's all changed now. If you stick with Discord as of March 2026, you are young forever. You are permanently a child. You are living in Neverland. You are Peter Pan. I'm going to make a competitive platform to Discord and call it Peter Pan. Just make everyone a kid and make it just patronize everybody. You have no rights. You're just a child. I'm protecting you. For Discord, I just edited the picture of my government ID. Screw those corpos. I think there's going to be a lot more fake IDs coming back into reality. It feels like fake IDs were a big thing, I guess, growing up, getting into clubs and drinking. It feels like kids don't do that so much anymore. But fake IDs are going to be coming out for accessing certain apps, and I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Or the face scanning, I've seen a lot recently. There are those realistic, let me see if I can find it. I'm seeing a lot of content creators like sharing the images of it. Like a realistic mask, like wearing a celebrity's skin. Yeah, like this, like Halloween masks. Let me share my screen so that way it's easy for everyone to see, like something creepy like that. Some Halloween masks. Yeah, we can be this guy. Realistic latex. I mean, if he's not old enough to use Discord, I don't know who isn't. I mean, if I was a teenager, this is the route I would be going to. I would just, yeah, look at that. Look at that. A lot of people were using Gary's mod before, I know, to do the face scanning, but I think just having a mask laying about like that would be great. I'm just an old man. I don't know. There's got to be some realistic silicone masks. There's going to be a whole market for this, for face scanning. Think of the influencing you could do if you had a fake face like this. Oh my gosh, you can be really popular. Turn that off before it feels like it's going to get crazy for the masks. You can be so many people. Fake IDs, fake face mask. If you want to stay on Discord, I support you. I'm not staying on it. I'm getting off. I don't agree with them. I think remind my Discord, I haven't used it in over a year anyway. Yeah, cancel it. Delete your accounts if you're not using it. Especially, don't keep that around. They're going to use all that information. They're running it through the AI to understand what your age you are anyway, so that way if you ever do come back, they'll know how old you are, whether or not they need your face scanned or not. But people will find ways around it. Still, I don't agree with it. I don't want to support it. I don't support Discord as a company. I think they're going in terrible direction with how it's being managed, with how it's just all for the money grab. It sucks. It sucks because it wasn't created that way. But as are most companies, they always go down the path of how can we go public and make as much money for the shareholders as possible. And you know what? Just give them a big FU and use something else. I don't know. I remember, especially for gaming, it used to be gaming in LAN parties or gaming with your friends in the room. Maybe we should just go back to that. Just have people. I know people live in different countries and different locations. It's not always possible, but if it is possible, let's game in the same room. Let's make game parties again. Dungeons and Dragons. Just get us all in the same place. We need more face-to-face. That's the cure for it all. But with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I've said what I had to say about Discord. I'm going to reiterate it 100 times over again if I have to, but my Discord server, again, will be axed by the end of the week. I'm deleting my account as well. So as far as my community is concerned, we will be living on YouTube until an alternative option that I find that would be good and I think people would use. Maybe I will use it, but honestly, I want to inspire people just to get off YouTube or get off everything and just live your life. I mean, I will share things, of course, more or less through YouTube now instead of other platforms, because it's sad. It's sad the way the apps are going in the world, and it's sad the way, as a content creator, I'm sorry, I have a bit of a moral compass. I'm not going to try to tell people to not use big tech or not use certain things and not follow through on it as well from my side. I don't want to feel people to feel that they have to follow me on these big platforms that are not respecting your privacy whatsoever. It just makes me feel gross. I don't get anything from Discord, and I definitely know they're going to get a lot of money from me if they sell my data. So, not sell my data. I tried Mastodon. I'm not a big fan. Move to Matrix. A lot of people are suggesting Matrix. I don't have patience or time to set up right now. I just don't have the bandwidth. I don't think I'm that interesting as a content creator, or I'm not putting out that much content across multiple platforms that people want to engage with necessarily. I find the community that I have here on YouTube in the comments and the live streams is very good. I know people want to reach out and talk to me personally, which is fine. I'm completely okay being contacted by email. I'll get to it when I can, of course. I just want people to, not feel that they have to connect with me everywhere all the time, or that they're missing information in certain places. I'd rather have it all centralized in one location. I have been using Discord for about a year or so. I really like the community on the Discord, but I'm not as active as I once was, so I don't think I'm giving it as much as I could. And now with the new policy rollout, definitely just not motivated to put any information in there. Discord wasn't the only thing I purged. Again, I got rid of my Instagram as well. I still have Blue Sky for the moment. I don't know. I don't have any pluses or minuses about Blue Sky. I don't really like the Twitter style of social media in general, but I do post on there. I do post some articles, things that I find that are interesting, or rants here and there. But in general, I'm just going to stick to YouTube. So if you're interested in the content, you're interested in the videos, and you want to see more about me, this is where I live. This is my online universe, both professionally and privately now at this point, because I'm not using the other places for personal use either. Sad state of the world, but we must move on. Thank you all again for joining in on the stream. If you're watching this later, I hope you found it interesting, and hopefully see you next week for another live stream with hopefully not another tech company blowing up in our face, but this day and age, expect the worst every day. That's all we can do. Have a good one, and talk to you all soon. Bye.